What is going on, everybody? It is the Video Game Architect, aka VGA, aka Double Tap for the OGs, and I'm sorry again for the long wait, everybody. I've been seeing the comments wanting more content. Unfortunately, this is not my primary income, and it's still just a side thing for right now. I will love to do this full time for you guys one day, but until then, I'm just going to be making content whenever I can, and I will be trying to do better about that and make sure you guys get some videos out here, because you guys have been still rocking with me, and we're about to hit 11,000 subscribers, so absolutely huge milestone. Appreciate each and every single one of you guys for sticking around and rocking with me. One last thing that I need to add for those of you who have been patient enough to sit through that intro is Stray Fawn Studio has been nice enough to hook me up with 2 extra copies of this game for Steam. So if you guys are interested in getting a Steam copy of The Wandering Village, please make sure that you like this video, you subscribe, and you comment in all caps, add me down below. And if you do those 3 steps, I will automatically add you into a raffle that will be drawn 2 weeks from now. And whoever the 2 winners end up being, I will make sure I get a hold of you and get those keys sent out exactly 2 weeks from July 20th. So again, the steps are: hit like on the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and you write in caps, add me down below, at least somewhere in your comment, and I'll make sure I add you up into the raffle. Without any further ado, guys, let's get right into this gameplay. Alright guys, so this is how it's going to drop you into the world. You're going to see all of these survivors, and they're basically going to be letting you know right away, we're homeless. That's okay, that's expected. We're going to go ahead and press spacebar, that'll pause the game. Here's our research tab, there's nothing researching currently. There's our scavenging tab, same thing. Our food summary is very important. This will show our demand and supply. We need that. Same with our population tab here. Those are going to be your 2 main tabs. It's going to show the total number of people you have, the amount of housing required, all of those things, which are very, very important, obviously, when you're trying to manage a society. So first things first, what I like to do in this type of game, especially in this one because I've tested it a little bit, is go ahead and you're going to want to scavenge pretty much as many resources as possible. I'm showing you guys the 3 layers of the map right now. We'll go more into detail about that as we go. But very first thing that we're going to want to actually focus on is harvesting. So you're going to grab the harvest tool here. We're going to set the priority the highest just because right now that's what I want them to immediately focus on. And so we're going to do harvest trees and harvest stone. So first things first, I'm going to grab these trees in our direct area because I'm planning on kind of building our base in that said area. So we're going to go ahead and grab as many trees which grow in the green area, and the stones you'll find are going to be in the brown gravel type area. That's where you're going to find your stones. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with stones that we did for tree, and go ahead and mark all of these items and objects up for them to be grabbed by our little workers. Love the art style, love the music of this game. I love everything about this game. It's very fun and easy to get trapped into for hours. So as you can see, they're going to go to work, start cutting down these trees, start grabbing rocks. That's perfect. First thing I'm going to do is set up some storage here for our general materials, our water, and our pantry for our food. So I'm going to go ahead and set down 2 material storages, which are just for our generic goods. If you hold shift, you'll be able to multi-place here. That's what you'll be seeing me do here. If you hold shift down, it'll allow you to do that. I'm going to do 3 water tanks and 2 pantries. The water is very, very important that we stay on top of, because the water, they don't actually drink it in this game. It's for us to produce vegetables in our farms. So still very, very vital, and I guess one way or another they're still getting water. So we're going to make sure that we have lots of storage for that. Next we're going to do is, as you guys can see, we grab some tents, and I'm going to set down 9 of them. 9 of them will cover a suffice amount. I believe it'll be 18 survivors. So right now we have 16, so it'll cover the immediate need for housing, and everybody will have somewhere to lay their head at night. So we're going to go ahead and get them working on all of those tasks at the same time. I will show you guys how the priority tool works here. Very, very important in these type of management games. So you guys could see I built the research building right away as well, and this is for this reason here. It unlocks the research tree, which is very, very important. This is how you can actually upgrade your village and get all the needed things. So you can see these different tabs. We have village, farming, resources, and Ambu, which is the name of the dinosaur that you're living on top of. Right now, we're going to focus on this village tab immediately, and we're going to go ahead and get the kitchen researching so that we can have food being processed for our village. I like to do the village doctor, the kitchen, and the scavenger post first. Those tend to be the ones that I like to prioritize, and you guys will see why as this game goes on. But it's good, we already have something researching while we're getting our immediate home built and our first storage bins. So it's good that that's happening, because research can go on throughout the entire time in the background. It'll automatically dedicate to researchers to the research post, so you don't actually have to worry about adding any workers there. However, I will show you how that works with different buildings here, how you can increase and decrease your workers. So you can definitely manipulate them and control their jobs, which is really cool. The music in this game is very, very peaceful as well, very calming. It's just one of those chill games like Banished where you can get lost in, and I absolutely love builders like that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start upping the priority here of these tents, but I'll show you now that you can actually grab a tool and do this instead of just doing it individually like I am here. You could do it this way, but there's a lazy way, which I'll show you now. You're going to go down here to this priority tool tab, click whatever priority you want, and you can just hover over whatever items you want to prioritize, and it will automatically set the priority for everything in that group. So really cool, really useful tool. Everything seems really dialed in on this game. It seems really fleshed out already. Really beautiful game. Alright, so as you can see, when we're chopping down the trees, they're adding them to our little storage bins over there. So it just keeps things organized. And if you don't have those in place, they'll just leave wood or whatever they chop down all over the place. We don't want that. But next thing we need to focus on is our air well. That will actually be where we get our water. It's our well, quite literally. So that will collect water over time from the air and moisture, and then we will move that water from there into our water storage bins that we are also on the go right now. So up at the top, you'll see that we're in a cold climate, really not ideal for growing, but currently we're not growing anything, so it's actually perfect time to get it out of the way, if you will. So here you can just select one of the quick ones. I do want the scavenger hut next, so I just press commit. You could choose to go to the tree and pick whatever you want. They're not forcing you to choose one of the two. It's just a nice little handy tool for things that they would think you're going to want next. And most of the time, it's pretty accurate. So as you can see, they're starting to build up all of our posts that we have told them to do. They're finally getting to it once they get the materials. At the top left, you'll see our goods that we currently have. You'll see our berries, our wood, our rock, and our water storage. So it'll show you your overall storage up there. Very important to keep an eye on that. That tab will build up as it goes, and you will see it get quite long as we get new items. All right. So everything that we immediately built is on the go and pretty much built up. That's good to see. Hard workers, these ones. Now you can see I set a berry gatherer down near those berry bushes. The berry gatherers will gather the berries without destroying the bushes. If you just went and harvested the bushes, you're actually going to destroy them. We don't want to do that. So by setting berry gatherers down, they will politely grab the berries and not disturb the bush, and it will allow it to grow back, and they can continue to grab berries from that source instead of just destroying it for a few berries. So really important to get berry gatherers down nice and early. No matter what the temperature is, they can do what they need to do. So as much as farming could be a little finicky, berry gatherers are important because they're a steady source of food, especially early on, and even later on I find they're really, really useful. So now I have the kitchen unlocked. I am going to go ahead and set it down, but as you guys will see, we need some refined materials in order to actually build it. So they're not going to be able to build this out quite yet until we continue on a little bit here, but I'm just going to set it down prematurely. No big deal. Our village doctor's almost researched, as you can see in the very top. You can see how far the research has come along. So here's the carpenter and stone cutter. They're going to refine our wood logs and our rocks down into planks, which is what we want in order to build the next generation of our research tab out, including our kitchen that I just set down. So we'll get them going. They'll start chopping down our wood and our stone, and we will be able to build next gen stuff. So over here in the top right, we just had a little notification. It's nomads. They're asking if they can join our settlement essentially. I'm going to go ahead and accept them, knowing I'm going to have to build some new homes for them though, to keep that in mind. You'll see, actually currently we're okay. It says our total population is at 18 and we have 18 homes, so we're okay for right now. However, we do want to keep in mind that whenever we bring in new nomads, that we check that we have the housing to support them, as well as food, but we'll get into that as it goes. We will keep accepting new people in, no question. So here you can see we need 10 wood planks and 10 stone slabs, so we'll get the carpenter and stonemason working over here, and we'll get that building built up as soon as possible. So again, setting down our village doctor. They are going to require planks and rock slabs as well, but that's okay. At least we have them producing now, so we can start laying down some of these next level buildings. The herbalist is very important as well. They actually gather herbs for medicinal purposes. That's what the doctor uses to actually heal our civilians from poisonings. So you could get poisoned in a bunch of different ways in this game. You guys will see us deal with that no matter what. And the doctors will come around and automatically heal them up from the poisoning. Extremely useful. The doctors are OP in this game. I love it. Very, very necessary that you get that built, because another thing to keep note of is sometimes when you accept new nomads, they will come into your population poisoned already from wherever they were before. So having doctors on standby ready to heal new nomads coming in is also very important. While I was chatting there, I did set down 2 farms next to the herbalist, so keep that in mind. When you're setting down farms, you cannot use the gray rockland. You have to use the actual grass area. So make sure that you're setting your farms down in really green areas where you can utilize majority of the land around it. So as you can see, we have 357 water already stored. So when we do get our farms going here, we have plenty of water to keep it going. Here we're in our research tab, just going through the different options we have here. I am going to go ahead and research the hut because it provides housing for 6 people instead of 3, I believe. I know it's quite a bit more than the standard homes. So being able to use the actual hut instead of all these little standard shacks, it just condenses the amount of actual homes we need for these people, which is extremely useful, of course. Now the scavenger hut that I set down below, the scavenger hut, I'll show you a little bit more about them later. We'll basically be able to send them on different quests and they'll bring back materials and sometimes people for us. So very useful as well. I'll show you how all of these work throughout this tutorial, guys. This is like any builder game. Sometimes they just need to go collect the actual resources that you'll need. The main ones in this game being wood and rock. we can go ahead and set the priorities up of some of these. Let them know where I want them built, because sometimes I'll find if you don't set the priority on the building high, then they'll just ignore it and go collect other things. Granted, I do have a bad habit of setting everything to a high priority, so I can't blame them for getting a little bit lost. I'll show you guys how the little workers huts work later on. I'll add them into this, and you'll be able to specify where you want your guys to work. It helps a lot. You can specify how many builders you want, specify how many carriers and people for harvesting that you want. It just allows you to coordinate them a little bit cleaner. You can build them early on in the game if you want, but as you guys will be able to see here, I didn't really find the need for them immediately. But they do come in handy at a certain point, no question. Like everything in this game will. You can see they're collecting berries over there. Once we get that kitchen running here, I'll get some food, actual meals being produced, which will have a lot more substance for the survivors than just eating the berries raw. That's why you do want to get a kitchen ASAP. So here you'll see that you have to add the little plot of farming land. So just press the little add tab and it will allow you to add a plot of farming land, and then they'll get to work right away. You want to leave it on plant and harvest. Beets are the very first things that are unlocked, and they're quite resilient and able to grow in a lot of different temperatures in this game. So beets are going to be one of your main things that you're producing even later in the game, I find. So really important to get that going. Do remember to set the actual plot for the farming field, or else you will have workers just standing there. Just a heads up. So I did click the kitchen right there and make sure that the berry dish is selected, because currently we don't even really have that many beets available, so I'm just wanting them to produce meals out of the berries. After that, once we have a nice harvest of beets collected, I'll likely switch that kitchen over to the beet meal. You guys will see how this all works. Later on, we're going to add multiple kitchens so they can be cooking different things. We're going to do one step at a time here though. I don't want to jump too far ahead for you guys. So you can see our farmers are hard at work here. Gonna get that herbalist shack built now and do the same thing. I'm gonna go ahead and press add for the plot, and I'm gonna select the plot next to that farm there. So now our herbalist can get to work and start growing some medicine for our people in the future here. So the hornblower is what I'm going to go ahead and commit to researching there. The hornblower will allow us to give commands to our dinosaur. We can basically command it to wake up right now, for instance. Sometimes you can command it to run, you can command it to eat, you can command it to do a bunch of different things, including change direction in this map later on. So it is a very useful tool. We're going to want to get that built eventually here, but again, one thing at a time. Herbalist hard at work there now. Scavenger hut, I'm going to just go ahead and get that on a high priority. We do want to get a crew of people going out there and scavenging. You guys will see you could get a lot of useful items from it. So it's very important, very similar to the research, as in it's going to be happening in the background, so you might as well get it going as soon as possible. The rewards are worth it. So I'm seeing now that we're getting a little bit low on stone, so I'm just going to go ahead and highlight those stones to be grabbed whenever possible. Because we don't have too many workers right now, we're stuck at 18, and I'm giving them all jobs. Getting some of the tasks done, like collecting stone and getting wood from trees, it's going to be pushed to the background. So that's why adding people is going to be really important in the early game here. Finding new survivors out there with the scavenger post, it's why it's so important. So again, why we're going to get that scavenger hut built up ASAP here. So here you'll see the food for our beautiful little dinosaur here. He's going to stop and he'll start eating, and you'll see the Ambu hunger drop as he's eating. And yeah, there's also little sleeping zones that he'll find where he likes to rest, and you'll see him rest up. We do want to keep an eye on him or her again. It's very important that we make sure it's fed and that it's well rested, because you can run into health problems later on. It can actually die, and at that point I'm assuming it's game over, because it's the same as if Earth died for us. So we're not going to let that happen. We don't want to find out what happens when it hits 0, so we're going to avoid that at all costs. So we're just going to monitor its belly and its sleeping habits here. Again, it'll automatically ask you if you want to continue researching. I love that about this game, so your researchers aren't just sitting there. I'm going to research landscaping now. That just allows us to add bushes and things for decor purposes, and it makes your survivors happier. Like a lot of builders out there, really important to get that on the go pretty early in the game. It just keeps our people happy. That's our goal. Alrighty. So Hornblower is now unlocked. Gonna go ahead and set this near the top. They're finally building that scavenger hut up, bringing the materials that are going to be required to get it going. Okay. I like to keep the speed of the game at 4 times, as you guys will see. I find it gives me enough time still to make sure all my movements are happening, but feel free to slow down the time with the 1, 2, and 3 key on the keyboard, guys. Very important to monitor your speed. If you're uncomfortable going this fast, slow the game down a little bit. Enjoy it. It's perfectly fine. For the purposes of showing you guys how to play and trying to cover as much as possible, I am going to likely just leave it at 4 times here for you guys, but again, feel free to play this however you enjoy it. It's definitely no rush. So as you can see here, I'm clicking on that settlement. Once we have the scavenger hut built, we'd actually be able to send them. So it is built up now. We just need to make sure that there's a crew in there, and then we will send them off. So you can see the little walking symbol there. One of the crew members are walking their way there now. It will turn into a solid person once they're ready. Alright, so we've hit day 14, 2 weeks in already. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Everybody's happy, everybody's fed. That's what's important. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open this research tab up. Make sure we take a look around here. You will notice the knowledge in the top right corner. You can also earn that through scavenging jobs, so I'll show you guys how that works. Certain things are going to require knowledge points in order to actually be researched. So here, once I press the open tab, I'm going to send this party to the ruin settlement. Again, this is where you can find survivors, leftover food. It will let you know whatever you may find in that area, and that's all you have to do to send the scavengers out. And you'll see right there the update on the scavenging. If you just click the post, it'll tell you what percentage they are. Once they're complete, you don't need to call them back. They'll automatically come back with whatever goods, and you'll get a little notification in the bottom left. So really important to keep sending them out. Unlike the research building, it's not going to remind you about sending them out, so you kind of have to stay on it yourself, making sure that your scavengers are out there doing their thing. So do keep an eye on the scavenger hut. Alright, so the mycologist, or however the hell you pronounce that, excuse me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, they will produce mushrooms for the actual dinosaur to eat. So it's not our food, but that's how you're going to be making the food for your dinosaur, which again, it's going to be on us to make sure that it's fed and doing well so that we can stay alive on top of them. Gonna go ahead and place a second kitchen down next to the first kitchen there, so that we can have 2 different items being made at the same time. And there you go, a scavenging party returned. They brought back 24 bread. So right now I know that they're back on our base, and we can open up our map again and select something else here. So here's a settlement. There's a good chance that we're going to find other survivors at settlements, especially the ones that aren't ruined. So if we need more people, which we do, especially in the beginning game here, make sure you send your scavengers out to settlements, and they will find new villagers to join your quest here. Second kitchen's almost built up here. Alright, so here you go. Found some more settlers. Pick them up. I'm adding them. 3 healthy, 2 hungry. That's not a big deal. That means they're still healthy too. They just need to feed their bellies, which is perfectly fine because we have meals on deck for them. And we're about to get some more with that second kitchen too. So now we do need to consider the fact that we were already at 18 before. Now we have definitely maxed out, so we want to go ahead and add some huts down. Again, I likely won't need this many because it provides quite a bit of housing, but we're going to go ahead and at least build 2 more out here. I may cancel those other 2. But I know 2 of those will be suffice for quite a few more survivors coming in, so that's what's important. We're going to be preemptive about it, just like we are with everything in this, making sure that we have our food and our housing ready to bring in new people. There you go. There's our very first hut. So the hut is now constructed, so we know we are pretty good for housing for our people here. So here I'm going to make sure that the beet is selected on one of the kitchens, the berry is selected on the other, and I have now selected 2 workers for each kitchen so that we can really get some things cooking out here for our people so that there is food prepared. Very important that you guys go in on these people. I'm showing you how you can select and add right here, deselect, sorry. So you can go ahead and add and take away however many workers you want in each building. Make sure you manage that because sometimes you'll have workers in buildings that aren't really necessary at the time, and that would be a complete waste where you could use them somewhere else. So make sure that you do micromanage those little things. It will matter in the long run. Alright, so I was just reselecting these. I was getting a little frustrated that they weren't getting grabbed, but in reality, it's just because we didn't have enough actual workers here. And again, if I used the little workers posts that they have in this game, I could have directed them a little more specifically, but I didn't do that quite yet, so this is me getting a little frustrated with the game, even though it's more my fault, so I'll own that. Alright, so the second kitchen's on the go. You'll see that it stops cooking whenever there's no product for it, so you'll just see your little minions get to work, go grab more product, bring it to the kitchen, and it will start chefing up as soon as it has what's required. You guys can see with the temperature, we're at normal and it's nice and humid, so it's really good growing conditions. So you'll start to see our farmers be able to produce more and more depending on the conditions, and vice versa as well. If it starts getting really cold, certain things won't grow really well, and we're going to end up having a halting to our growing. So it is something that you have to manage and make sure you're a little bit ahead of the curve. It's also why zooming out to the main map is important, because it'll show you which biomes you're entering or leaving, and it'll help you determine what you need to be prepared for in the future there. So here we go. I'm finally going to place down those worker posts that I kept speaking on, and I'll show you guys how those work. More nomads. I'm going to just keep bringing them in. So 1 are healthy, 2 are poisoned. Again, it's not a big deal. I have 2 village doctors. They're going to get on it right away. As soon as they see we have poisoned villagers, they're going to run over to them, give them some medicine, and they will be good to go, and we will have 2 extra people willing to work, ready to work. Do make sure that you have that doctor down. Again, with poisoned villagers, if they don't get medicine relatively quickly, they will drop dead, and that's no bueno. We want to keep everybody alive. Alright, the warehouse will build and hold 250 of each item. It's really massive. It helps a lot, but we're going to just hold off on that a little bit. We will get a warehouse built here eventually, but for now, we're just going to leave well enough alone with the current storage. Alright, again, you'll see that the research tab pops up automatically when it's time to research something new. I'm just going to go ahead and research corn. You'll see that we do have to research a certain amount of these different growing opportunities in order to get down to the wheat, which will then allow us to make bread later on. So you do want to go ahead and research all those different growing opportunities relatively soon. Alright, again, we'll see that we have a feeding spot. Our beautiful dinosaur is going to stop here, start eating, feeding its belly up, which is perfect for us because that means we don't need to worry about its immediate hunger for a little while here, which is perfect. Alrighty, so our total housing right now is for 30 people, which works well because we only have 26. So we should be good for a little while at least here. Maybe one more group of survivors, just depends. Alright, so here you can see the focus for the worker posts, either harvesters, carriers, or general workers. Then you can specifically set them to do certain things, like for instance, having builders always ready to go, especially once you have a good population of people around the time we're at now, is perfect because they'll just focus on building. They're not going to worry about going and collecting all of that other stuff. They'll leave it to other people. So it's really important at a certain point there that you get workers posted and you start dialing workers into specific things just so you know exactly where they're going and where they're needed, because you can always add more general workers or more builders if things aren't building out quick enough. It allows you to just manipulate and control it a little bit easier. So now is definitely the time to get that going. I'm going to get this third farm going as well now. Same idea, make sure you choose the plot of land, go and highlight wherever you want the growing area to be, and they will automatically get to work as soon as that is selected. Alright, that second worker's post is on the go. Again, just highlighting the rocks, being impatient. Alright, just kind of enjoying watching them do their thing here. Again, remember to send out your scavengers, which is what I forgot here for a little moment. Make sure you stay on top of that. Whatever resources you need, make sure you're reading what it says you could collect and send them off. I do like how quick the scavengers work in this game. It's really useful. Now here is our first poison cloud. So essentially it's gonna poison our little dinosaur here, and we're gonna find all kinds of guck and things that we don't want. It's going to poison our workers getting rid of it, but it is what it is. You can't avoid them, so you just have to take care of it. Later on, there's something we can unlock in our research tree that we can get rid of it with and use it. But for right now, we're just gonna have to do it the old school way, which is getting rid of it with our hands. But I'll show you guys how that works in a second here, as soon as I actually remember to get to it. Alright, we're gonna just get his feeding trebuchet going there. It'll basically toss food into his mouth once we actually get his food being produced. Really cute how it all works. Really, really awesome. He's tired though, so he's gonna sit there and take a little nap while we continue to get things pushing on his back here. Alright, so I'm going to just go for the harvesting tool again, and I'm going to select everything that's green like this. If you don't get it picked up, you guys will see here that it will start to spread and it will become a bigger issue. It ends up turning into a little bit of a mess here, but we do get it taken care of. This is exactly why you want to get rid of it sooner than later, because it will spread quite quickly, again, as I will demonstrate here, because I don't have the proper number of workers to actually address it immediately here, which is what you guys will see. But it's alright. In the end, it's all going to be worked out and everything will be alright. Again, we can deal with this in a different way later on. We can actually harvest it, so on and so forth. But for right now, this is going to be the main priority, is getting rid of all of that poisonous stuff. But you want to know what, guys? I actually think this is a perfect spot for us to stop this first beginning of this tutorial. We've gotten quite a bit done. We are on day 23. We have a sustained village going here. We have plenty of water, plenty of food. We have medicine. We have all the immediate things that are necessary. Now we're going to start digging into the little bit of the deeper things. But if you guys do want more of this content and more of this game, please do let me know in the comments below. I will produce a lot more of this footage. I absolutely love playing this game, so it won't be a job at all for me. I enjoy it. It really does remind me of Banished. Make sure you guys do remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Add me at least somewhere in your comment if you guys are interested in being added in the raffle to win one of the 2 Steam keys that are available. Without any further ado, guys, this is the Video Game Architect. I'll see you guys in the next one.